Hello, everyone. Welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Doze, joined by Eric Teskey today to break down the penultimate, I'm so glad I get to say that, penultimate issue of Thor 799. Yes, we are one issue away from the milestone of Thor 800. Eric, I know we were going to get here, but did a part of you at some point think we're never going to get to 800? We're on the doorstep of 800 with 799, and oh my gosh, I'm excited for 800. But this issue did not disappoint one bit.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on me, honestly, as we've been getting into this Mortal Thor sort of title change, and oh my gosh, we're already 13 issues into the Mortal Thor.
Yeah.
Like that still feels like, oh, we just started this, but
over a year ago.
Yeah. But I'm excited. We got Magni on the cover, fantastic Alex Ross cover. And so I've been looking forward to this ever since I see all the solicitation cover art about 3 months out when I pre-order everything. And so I've been looking forward to check back in with this, every 4 issues or so Tale of Asgard update where we see what's happening. So it's pretty wild that we are right on the doorstep of 800, and Al Ewing is not phoning it in. We could just have some fluff and say, let's get to the big milestone, but we are not just like cruising. He's innovating and trying new things, and this issue itself is experimental in a way that I really appreciate, and I'm excited to talk about it.
So for those of you that don't know, Al Ewing is a phenomenal writer. And every so often, he just kind of it feels like he sits down and he's like, okay, this issue is going to be like extra awesome. And this issue was extra awesome. Like Eric said, this is one of our Tales of Asgard aside stories. So we know what's going on with Sigurd in Midgard. We got the big reveal of the World Serpent at the end of the last issue. If you haven't checked out that review, it is in this feed wherever you're finding it. You can go check out our thoughts on that. But this story is really it's almost a one-shot, Eric. It's almost a one-shot of Magni and his story at the risk of...
Let me set it up. This comic is Magni sitting in a room, and that's the whole issue. And that's so if you're Al Ewing, you're thinking to take a premise like that and to make it as interesting as we get, it's pretty amazing.
It is in the sitcom world, it is a bottle episode.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It is the most cosmic bottle episode that you've ever read or seen. And we would love to tell you our thoughts on it. This is, again, the penultimate issue, and we had to get some stuff done. And boy, did we get some stuff done. And we never left the room to do it. So in this issue, we pick up where Magni was left at the end of the last Tales of Asgard, where Blackjack O'Hare, his faithful sidekick, and I believe Eric's favorite Marvel character of all time, was sadly taken off the board forever by Amora the Enchantress. And she no-scoped him from forever away with Ullr's bow. And it was not going to say it was a fun issue to read. That was a downer. Magni is still torn up about Blackjack, and we see him on the throne in grief. And we see a few people try to console him, Fandral, Volstagg, Hildegard, and especially Hogan. I want to dig into what Hogan says to him. And then Amora shows up, and Amora's like, come on, you got to get over this. He's a mortal. Mortals die. And Magni gets very upset, asserts his all-father power to basically scare her into admitting that she had something to do with it. And she, of course, slimes her way out of it like she always does. And she leaves Magni to his grief. This is where what Eric said, we're not leaving the room in this bottle episode. This is where the issue gets into its format. Magni does not leave the room. It does not leave the throne room. And we see jumps in time forward, a year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1,000,000 years. And eventually we get to beyond forever. And and we can break these down more specifically, but Magni has gone through an evolution where his grief takes on different embodiments. Like he starts to look different, and he looks older, he looks younger. There's a few different costume changes in this progression that are pretty fantastic. And then eventually he gets to the end of his existence, and death and he are side by side when Magni, he ceases to exist. He's done. And he goes to Valhalla. But when the doors of the throne room open for the first time, in Magni's understanding, for the first time in millions and millions and untold amounts of years, Amora and Ullr walk in, and we find out it was a spell. It was a spell on the room, a spell on Magni to get him to give up, essentially. And Amora takes the throne as the Allmother after her son passes on to Valhalla. In Valhalla, Magni is again side by side with Blackjack O'Hare. This issue had some of the best 3 to 4 last pages of a Thor comic that I've read in a long time, Eric. The backstabbing and then right into the celebration. If this is the end of Magni in this run, could you have done it better in one issue? I don't think so. But I know there's a lot to break down, and I may have missed parts in that breakdown, but the overall flow of this issue was beautiful. Al Ewing wrote an amazing comic. And I know that's not a shock, but every so often I'm just like, God, this guy can write. But where do you want to start, Eric?
Well, if you went into this just looking at what needs to happen in this issue to get the pieces where they need to be, right? If you were going to say, we need to kill Magni and we need to give Enchantress the all power.
Yeah.
This is not the most straightforward way to get there.
Absolutely,
but it's a beautifully done way to get there, because we learned a little bit about grief. We learned a little bit about life. It's a commentary on modern society, like everything Al Ewing does seems to be. But I mean, there's some pieces I want to pick out here. First of all, we get some great foreshadowing with, where's Balder?
Yeah.
I think we're going to find out where Balder is.
Oh, we are.
Soon. We get Hildegard doing some hot gossip about Hela and Carnilla, who have actually been married since I think it was 2018 in the Jason Aaron run.
Coming up on their 10-year.
Yeah, it's been a while. And so, but they're joking around about how because I think it happened right before War of the Realms as sort of like a political union.
Yep.
And then they're like, maybe it's not just so political. Maybe they're getting some benefits out of it.
We do learn more about that in an issue we're going to talk about in an upcoming episode.
It's all connected. Before we get too far into it, before we get into the time jumps, we do get Hogun consoling Magni, and he does talk about really what is grief. And so I really like the part where he says, it's not, you're not just going to get over it. Grief is going to come back and get you like a knife when you least expect it. But it'll keep coming back. And sometimes it'll come back as a friend as well. So I was like, wow. So kind of bleak at the same time. It's like, well, you never really get over it. It just feels different sometimes.
Well, I love that they gave Hogun that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not a character that gets a lot of spotlight moments.
Yeah.
But I mean, who would know better than Hogun? I mean, he is the Grim.
And he's not a big talker, but when he does open his mouth, something profound's going to come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I loved his quote. A cold world would it be if we never grieved? So very nice. And that really kicks us off into some of the other deep commentary here. So we get, as time is passing by, Magni at first is feeling like, okay, he's in this throne room. Amora has said, I hope you rule forever and a day. And she leaves him to be on the throne. And he's at first he's sort of like getting himself up to speed on what he needs to know to be a ruler. He starts doing things sort of like he's pushing paper. He feels like he's getting a lot done, but he's really immersed in sort of the bureaucracy of ruling, of being a leader. And he doesn't leave, and he, thinks like, maybe I should go out into the world, but he's like, no, I really have responsibilities now. I really can't go out just adventuring. I have to kind of stay here and get this done. But I'm getting so much good work done. And doesn't it feel that way? in my job, I'm stuck in an office and I'm firing off emails and I'm like, man, I got a lot done today, but did I like I sent some memos back and forth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this was a great mirror to be held up to a lot of like office job life where it's like,
when he even wonders, it's like, how did Dad do this and go to Midgard, like, and fight all these different people? How did he do it all?
And then it flashes forward, and he's in sort of like a 1,000 years into the future, and he's a businessman, and he's like talking on this phone that looks like it's not even plugged in. So I think that's where another clue that like this spell is playing out here.
Kind of,
and he's like
losing it. He's losing his marbles.
He's losing it. He's like, I need to go out and get a stroll. Maybe after my next call. Certainly after like my next call, I'll have time and go out there. So it's just, he's a modern workaholic, and he's under the spell. And so, I mean, it's just like, that's just so, I don't know. It's very poignant.
One other thing, Eric, as these jumps are happening, the door to the throne room is shown at the bottom of each page being more and more covered in cobwebs and dust. And the door is still right there in front of him, but it hasn't been opened in so long.
Yeah.
That was just a detail I loved that they included.
Yeah. And then at year 10,000, he still hasn't left. He's having trouble remembering the name of this friend of his because he has a statue of Blackjack, and he is sort of losing his memory. This I thought was an allegory for old age. Maybe he's in a nursing home. He's saying like, surely somebody's going to come visit me any moment now. Someone will come visit. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like that's so sad. And he has this look about him like he's, kind of, losing touch, hasn't had a lot of social interaction, and has been, stuck in this room for 10,000 years. So then things kind of take a turn a little bit. He starts to kind of try to get out and tries to fight back. And he spends something like 80,000 years banging on the door. Like the time dilation here is mind boggling to think about, because he's immortal. He could spend literally 80,000 years banging on a door, trying to open it, yelling out for someone to come. And now he's kind of realizing that he's trapped in there. At first he wasn't leaving because he was, getting so much work done. And now he really is realizing he can't get out.
He's fighting against being in the room now.
Yeah. With the, just another little nugget that I loved. We show a scene, and the whole like wall behind him has been eroded. And the description is that the movement of the air had eroded it long ago. Like, think about that. Just the air molecules bumping into something over the course of like 100 million years has eroded something like this. It's such a fun thought experiment to think about.
Al's ability to build scope in a one-room story.
Yeah.
This sounds like such, aggrandizing, praise.
It sounds like we're blowing smoke, because it's like the dude never leaves the room. He's sitting on his chair. What are you talking about? Why is it so good? Like, you need to read it. It's really good.
Again, especially if you're a Thor fan, like Al Ewing built a world for Magni inside this room, and the scope that he provides the throne room and the struggle that Magni is going through, willingly, unwillingly, like wherever you want to draw that line, is so, I'm going to say it, it's brilliant. This issue is brilliant. And yeah, gosh, and we're not even done describing it, Eric. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, and it does get to the point where the numbers are so big, it is impossible to possibly comprehend.
Yeah.
You cannot, in your mind, you cannot think about 100 billion years in the future. Like, it just doesn't, there's no way to conceptualize that.
Right.
And so their Magni is really at a stalemate with death. Death is there sort of
fighting against it.
Fighting against death in a stalemate. Him and Death finally come to an agreement. They're kind of like evenly matched, and they're like, and Death is sort of then just standing there with a hand on his shoulder, like, I know I can't make you die, and you're not going to let me take you. And so it gets to the point where it's literally been it's year forever. And then we turn the page, and it's year forever in a day. And I'm trying to, what was your interpretation of this? Is it that Magni died at year forever plus one?
So, or
that he gave up, or I don't think it said he would never yield, and he never did. So he never actually gave up.
I could be totally wrong on this, but I almost got the impression that death died, and that in not giving in ever, Magni outlasted death, and finally he was able to, open up that, spark of, light we see in the panel, and he walks into Valhalla. Or maybe, gosh, I don't know, because it says he didn't give in.
It's almost like and it's probably a little bit ambiguous on purpose.
Oh,
I think
for sure.
I think that skull with the long hair is him. I don't think that's death. I think that's him.
Oh,
and I think that,
well, now I look silly.
If he's going to live forever, I think he did live forever, but now it's forever in a day. And so now he just ceases to exist.
God damn it.
Like, he's immortal. He lives forever. But then what about forever in a day?
I love this. When Amora says, like, I hope you reign forever in a day, he does get that.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of, like, when people, when a new, like, monarch or a new person, like, ascends to a throne, something we say in the real world is, like, long live, the king, the queen. Magni gets to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes him through all these peaks and valleys. But when he gets to Valhalla, it's like he's forgotten everything else, and he's just a shell of a man, and really a skeleton of a man.
And I think that's a little bit about how Ullr's power works.
Yeah.
He's the god of doom. And so what is doom, right? I think the spell works because Amora sort of, like, when she says something like, I'm sure you'll rule forever in a day, that's kind of one of those, like, well, don't jinx it kind of moments. Like, you better knock on wood, or that might be the case, or something like that. And so that is, I think that, to me, that's like, that has to happen in order for the spell to take effect. Because Ullr's not just, like, doing time dilation to kill him.
Right.
Ullr is fulfilling this, like, not a prophecy. Prophecy is too big of a word. It's really just sort of like you shouldn't have jinxed it. Like, you kind of set up this, you said that thing, and so I just made it true, kind of a thing.
And Amora did, in a way, she kept her promise, where she left him to his grief.
And she didn't kill him.
And she did not kill him.
Time killed him.
Like, the unendingness of all of this killed him. And
although she does explode his body, and she is dressed like a serpent. She's very serpentine. We didn't comment on her new look. Her new outfit is very serpentine,
which I loved, by the way. I love her new fresh look that she only really hangs on to for one more page, because then she does a complete, like, but now I'm fabulous, and she is
fabulous.
She does. I mean, her all mother look is phenomenal as well. As much as it pains me to say that, she sits on that throne, and I'm like, well, we're all screwed now.
And she wasted no time changing the statue of Thor behind her to a statue of herself.
She's so vain that she knows this song is about her.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Gosh, yeah, we see her just kind of like poof, Magni's body away, and she sits on that throne. But then, I mean, Eric, the epilogue, 2 pages. What you're the one that's emotionally connected.
I was getting so excited because, okay, and this is Al set me up for this to happen, because in the start of the issue, they say something like, they gave Blackjack a Viking funeral, but it's not like he's going to go to Valhalla. Certainly, I can't think of a mortal who's ever made it into Valhalla. And so that kind of primes you as like, well, yeah, he's probably not in Valhalla. So then I forget all about that, but then I get to the last page, and it was actually a surprise, because I wasn't sitting here thinking like, oh, well, Magni's just going to go to the afterlife. I thought Magni was like done. So he walks in there, and the first thing he hears is, that was quick. Welcome to Valhalla, I guess. Like, I'm like, who's this wisecracking fast talker? Oh, it's his buddy. The one and only. And he starts drinking mead. He, like, de-ages and looks like back to his, like, normal self. And they're toasting in Valhalla. And they're planning on busting out. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they say, let's blow this popsicle stand, and they're going to get out of there. So excited.
And thus, an endless tale of Asgard was told. I mean, Eric, I feel like we gave our thoughts throughout it, but God, this was such a good comic.
Yeah.
Such a good comic. And like you and I have been here like through the whole Mortal Thor run saying like we love the street level Sigurd stuff and seeing him basically like be Batman with a hammer and like we love the the smash 'em up action issues. But this was different. This is an issue I feel like I will revisit because of how much ground Al covers and the themes he covers and the impact that it has both immediately but also like as a single issue. It's a powerful issue.
Like when I sat down to read this, I thought we were going to get, Amora going to try to kill Magni so she can take the throne. And that's basically what she did. But I was not expecting a commentary on life passing you by while you're busy working. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, am I having like a little midlife crisis here during this issue? Like, this is amazing.
Damn you, Mr. Ewing.
So I was, unexpected, but very welcome, very, self-reflective, introspective kind of moment told. And so just kudos to the job well done on that. And I keep going back to this cover because if you think about it after reading it, especially the cover really kind of sums it all up. It's Magni on the throne. That's what he does the whole time. And if you look in the bottom right, there's a little memento mori, a little reminder of death that's foreboding in the bottom corner.
This one was was one of those issues where like some of them you end with and you're like, yeah, can't wait to pick up next month. And you're like, you get done with this one, you're like, oh my God, I feel like I gotta sit with this one for a minute. I loved this one, Eric. Any other final thoughts about Thor 799, the penultimate issue before we reach 800?
I'm excited to see. I hope we get to find out what Asgard under the rule of Amora with the all power looks like. I mean, it's pretty epic stuff. So I'm excited.
Gosh, it's just backstabbing on backstabbing on backstabbing. It's cursing people and getting people to fall in love with you. And it's going to be kind of a wild ride. Thor 800 is merely weeks away, and there's a lot that's going to happen. And I feel like we've spent most of this year speculating on what Thor 800 will be. But truth is, we're excited for Al Ewing to show us the way, to kind of bring all the pieces that have been teased and pulled at, bring those into the light and send us off, into 801 and 802 and 803, like all the direction that we'll go from there. Eric, do you want to say anything about that before we head out? Or I feel I think piece on it.
What you just said made me think about it. Is like, as comic fans, I think sometimes we can get too caught up in the like, I'm so excited to see what happens with like this major overarching plot. Like, I want to know what happens with the mortal Thor and when's Thor coming back. But this issue is a perfect reminder of don't like wish away the opportunity to have these moments in between. Like, we're not just trying to, I know everyone's excited, but let's not just fast forward to when Thor eventually comes back, which we all think is going to be sometime soon-ish, right? Like we know he's going to come back eventually. So it's not just about let's just hurry up and get there. This issue is a perfect example of like, if you take your time and all good things are going to be, there's no rush. We can let this marinate for a while and we can get little gems like this that pop up along the way because of it. So
couldn't agree more, man. This was a fantastic issue, a single issue of a comic, and we can't wait to see what Al Ewing has in store for us. So if you want to leave us a comment, like, a subscription, wherever you're finding this, leave us a review. We'd love to read it on the show. You can check us out on Instagram, Discord, Patreon. All those links are there. Any way you want to interact and you want to just continue this conversation would be fantastic and welcome from us. But we do want to say before we jump aboard the Rainbow Bridge, whether you are in some form of grief yourself, whether you're trying to comfort someone that's in grief, going through something, whether you're going through the stages of I'm banging on the door, or like, you know what, I don't even care about the door anymore. No matter where you're at, we just hope you do one thing, and that is stay worthy.